Welcome to Good as Gold, hosted by Nick Grovich, a show dedicated to helping you understand precious metals and rare coins, how to avoid the pitfalls when buying, and how to understand the inner workings of the precious metals markets. Have a question? Call our local office at 1-800-221-7694. That's 1-800-221-7694. Or visit us online at www.americanfederal.com. Now, here's the host of Good as Gold, Nick Grovich.
Hi, today Nick's on vacation, and you have Don Gause and Carl Ladas sitting in for him.
I just remembered something, Don.
Oh, yes, what?
We forgot to feed his turtle.
I'm not too worried. Turtles live a long time between meals, but just to give you a little background, I'm on the road about 2 weeks every month, sometimes 3, buying coins. In the last 10 years, I've probably bought close to $100 million worth of coins. So we know what we're doing, and you can call in and ask any question you want at our local number here is 602-324-1510. That's for the radio station if you want to call in and talk on the radio with us. Just wanted to let you know a little bit of bookkeeping stuff here. We just put out a platinum brochure. We really like platinum coins right now. And you can call the office at 800-221-7694 and get a copy of that anytime. If you're kind of a contrarian, it's a great time to be a platinum buyer. Prices are, platinum's trading for less than gold right now, and it's an industrial metal that's being affected by the world's economy. Where if car sales go up, platinum should go up. So if things go right in the world, platinum will probably be the strongest performing metal or strongest performing coins we can sell you. If you're worried that things are going to go wrong, stick with your gold and silver.
Matter of fact, platinum trades for normally 35% more than gold,
well, for years and years, it's been between 35-40% more than gold, and at the top of the market back in 2008, before everything fell apart, platinum was $2,400 an ounce when gold was $800 an ounce. So that's kind of where we're at with that stuff. I also wanted to thank George from the Mesa Coin Club for handing out some flyers on Nick's show for us, and he's been a caller a few times, and we appreciate your participation in the show. First thing, Nick, that Carl and I wanted to talk about was some of the things that are going on in the collector coin market. Back in the mid-'80s, PCGS and NGC came in and started grading coins, so we had some uniformity there where when you went to sell a coin, it was the same grade as when you bought it, versus the old days when a dealer would sell you a coin at MS65, and when you go to sell it back, the same dealer would say, I'm looking at it a little closer, it's a 63 now.
Yeah. That really, the grading services too, more importantly, what they did is they really standardized the grading and made it easier for an investor or non-knowledgeable collector to get into the market. And that was probably one of the biggest things to happen in rare coins.
Yeah. They're always trying to expand the buyer experience, I guess. Well, back in 2007, a company called CAC, Certified Acceptance Corp, was founded by a guy named John Albanese. And just to give you a history on him, he was one of the original PCGS dealers and graders. Our boss, Nick Grovich, was one of those guys, too. And he broke off from PCGS not too long after it was founded to found NGC, which is one of the other they're probably the two best grading services in the country. Well, in 2007, one of the things you have to understand when you're buying rare coins, there's a lot of gray area there. Every coin has a sight unseen bid, or mostly has a sight unseen. Sometimes the market's so limited there's nobody really looking for things. But the coins have a sight unseen bid and a sight seen bid. If you post a sight unseen bid into our marketplace, we basically have an electronic bid board that the dealers all belong to. If you post a sight unseen bid, you have to honor that bid or you get thrown off the bid board. You can post any sight seen bid you want, and you never have to write a check for that. So that's kind of the gray area. What are your coins really worth? I can tell you what I can get for your coins very easily. We offer something called our guaranteed consignment program because we then go out and try and sell them for more money, and we work for you to get you more money. But that's kind of why we've built our business that way, is because there is gray area, and if you're gonna work with a professional dealer, they should be working for you, not just for themselves. To have a long-term relationship with clients, it's always best if there's a little if we're doing something to help you along the way.
Yeah, we truly are our clients' biggest advocates, because we're trying to. The more money we find for your coins, your coins, the more money we make, the more money the company makes, the more money you make. We're paid based on what your coins sell for. So, by all means, we're going to go out and find the highest bidder possible.
Yeah. Well, back to CAC. What they do is they put a little sticker on a coin, and what that sticker means is basically that it's in the top tier of the grade. So if it's an MS65 with the CAC sticker, it's theoretically a 65.5 to 65.9. And what it does is it just gives a little more assurance in the marketplace that you've really got a good coin. At one point they were talking about that CAC dealers would then honor sightseeing bids, and you can imagine the manipulation that happened there, so that nobody's holding anybody to those things. But just to give you an idea, it seems like if your coin has a CAC sticker, we seem to be able to get quite a bit more for it in the marketplace right now. Not always, but most of the time. Again, another reason why you work with a dealer that knows what they're doing, because not every coin is worth even spending the small amount of money that it costs to get the CAC sticker on it. What's really going on is there's 360 dealers out there that have approximately 360 dealers out there that have agreed to make a market in these coins. And for the most part, it's not the guys that you hear about when you're listening to the radio that are advertising on national programs and things like that. It's more the smaller dealers that work with serious collectors that are out there. So you're marketing to not investors necessarily, but the people who, they grew up collecting coins, and now they're making a little bit more money, and they're buying a little more expensive coins. So it's a different group of people. Since 2007, they put these stickers on coins with an insured value of over $1 billion. So they're in the marketplace pretty aggressively. Just to give you an idea, I looked at not a real rare coin, but I looked at basically 1908 no motto $20 St. Gaudens. It's a pretty plentiful coin. Okay, we're almost ready to go to break, so I will just, if you have any questions, call the radio show 602-324-1510, or you can reach us at the office after the show, 480-553-5282, or our 800-221-7694.
We'll be right back.
Good at this break stuff. We still have about 7 seconds. So you can also check out our website at AmericanFederal.com, or I think we have podcasts there. Thank you.
Once again, here's Nick Rovich.
I'll say. All right, thank you for listening. Carl Ladas here, and Don Gause filling in for Nick Rovich while he's on vacation. We were just talking about CAC, or Certified Acceptance Corporation. Some of you that might own coins might recognize it with the little green sticker. Again, it's a separate company, separate from the grading services, PCGS and NGC. And long story short, they basically certify that the coin meets their strict grading standards. Basically saying if it's in a 65 holder, it's actually a 65. It's not a 64 that got lucky and ended up in a 65 holder. So it's a solid grade. Don, can you tell us a little bit more about CAC?
I just wanted to talk about one of the more common coins that we see investors in all the time, $20 St. Gaudens and 1908 no motto. A lot of people get sold this coin as some kind of a great collector coin, and I'm just going to, it's a beautiful coin. I mean, from a standpoint of the beauty of it and all the rest, it's a very cool coin, but I'm going to give you some numbers here. In MS65, this is just one date of this coin. PCGS and NGC have graded 29,414 coins. Now, just to give you an idea what that CAC sticker does for you, I mean, that's a lot of coins when you think about how many collectors there are out there. There's 453 of them with the CAC sticker. So it does give you a little bit more exclusivity. It gives you a little more assurance. In 66, there's 12,688 graded by PCGS and NGC, and there's only 269 with the CAC sticker. And in 67, there's 1,150 coins graded by PCGS and NGC, and only 18 of them have a CAC sticker on them. So does that mean that that number could grow with the CAC sticker over time? Probably can and will, especially if the values hold up. But I mentioned that coin because that's a coin that I have begged and pleaded with people to sell for 10 years. And just to give you some background, like an MS66, that's the one I probably see the very most of. When gold was about $600 to $800, those things were bid at $3,000 to $3,200. When gold hit its peak of $1,900, those things were bid at about $2,400. Today, with gold, so they went down with gold going up, and today those coins are bid at, gosh, I think the sight unseen bid's about $1,600 right now, and the sight seen bid's about $2,000. So, I gotta believe I can get $2,000 if I had one in my hands, but it's just one of those coins. It's a declining asset during a period when things were going up, which is a lot of guys. Most of the people out there will try and sell you that coin because it's a coin that, yeah, well, I mean, if they're bid at 1,600 sight unseen and 2,000 sight seen, if I sold somebody 100 of those coins and I raised the bids to 2,100 or 2,200, every dealer in the country is going to feel like they got a gift, and they'll sell you those coins pretty quickly. So that's kind of the way that marketplace works. So it's one of those things you're waiting for somebody else to help you, whereas if you're calling to buy gold, and you get talked into rare coins, which is what we see happening more often than not, you need dealers to help you, whereas, market fundamentals in the marketplace is what's going to make gold go up, not a dealer pushing your coin out the door.
The other thing I think that's interesting about CAC is they do not accept modern coins or bullion coins for submissions.
Well, that's true, and I was just going to go into that a little bit because I think we ran our course on CAC. One of the things, that reason I'm talking about it is we were just recently became a CAC dealer. There's only 2 CAC dealers in Arizona. I just looked this morning. They haven't even posted us yet on their website. I think it's been about a month since they approved us, but very shortly you'll be able to prove that we're telling the truth by going out and looking on their website. But one of the reasons that I'm glad Carl talked about the modern coins and bullion is I travel all the time. Carl was in Texas last week buying a really nice deal from one of our clients. I was in Oregon and Washington over the last 2 weeks. And one of the gentlemen I met with in Oregon, he bought from a fairly prominent dealer with a national advertising position, and he's got a bunch of they're proof 70 platinum American Eagles, 1 ounce platinum coins. That do I think they'll be, if platinum stays at 12 or 13 or maybe even goes to 2,000, maybe they'll become a collector coin at some point and be worth a lot more than platinum. They're worth more than the value of platinum right now. The problem is he paid $4,500 for each of those coins, and right now they're probably worth a couple $100 over spot platinum price. So I'm looking at, at platinum at 1,082 today. I'm looking at probably being able to sell those coins for $1,282. At this point in time, I love platinum. I told them, listen, you paid too much money for the coins. I can't help you, but I think there's a strong possibility I'll be able to buy those coins for a lot more than they're worth today at some point in the future. So if you're asking for my professional advice, you already own the coins, you keep them. If you want, he
gave a lot away when he bought them.
Yeah, he's never going to get that back, and it's all about what you pay for things when you buy them. It can be very frightening. with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and folks, feel free to give us a call. At the office anytime. If you find a deal out there that looks really good, we do have customers that they get the information from us, hence the Platinum Eagles, and they end up thinking that they've got a better deal somewhere else. You may or may not. Feel free to call us and ask. We'll be honest enough to tell you, hey, that's a great deal. Take them up on it, or run for the hills.
Yeah. I just also, in my last couple of buying trips, I saw something else that was interesting, and I was up against on about 3 deals, a pretty good sized dealer, that they sell real coins to people. I'll give them that, but their markups are a little bit high, and a lot of what they do is they're trying to justify their markups by always telling people that their new thing is that they're working on a 14% margin. So when you call to find out what your coins are worth, they take the cost, the price they're actually selling coins for right now, take 14% off of that and say, this is what we'll buy the coins for. The problem with that philosophy is I can buy everything that they, when they quote prices like that, I can pretty much buy almost everything they're quoting those prices on and sell them to you at a 10 or 15% markup and make money, selling you the coins for less than they're saying they'll buy them from you for. So what they do a lot of times, and I'll just give you, this is some of the stuff I saw. In fact, the guy just sent me a bunch of coins who this happened to. He basically called up his dealer and said he needed some money. And basically, they quoted him, for 8 coins, they quoted him, it's not, I rounded a little bit, they quoted him $24,000 for 8 coins. My offer for the same 8 coins was $20,000. Now here's the kicker. They were going to write him a check for $10,000, and they were going to trade him into another coin for $14,000. Well, that $14,000 coin, when I go out and look at sight unseen bid on that coin, the current sight unseen bid on that coin was $3,200. Now, does that mean they're making $11,000 and really skinning them alive? No, because if I bought that coin from you and I guarantee you $3,200 because I knew that's what I can get. Maybe if I had time to do homework, I might have guaranteed you more than that. But I guarantee that they're not paying more than $6,000 or $7,000 for that coin. So their $4,000 better offer is really about $4,000 worse than our offer. Maybe less, maybe a little worse than that.
Yeah. So they are skinning them alive.
Yeah. So, and they got a lecture about our fee, which we show you, and how all kinds of other things. And the reality was that it was a better deal to go with us, and it took him about a week to figure it out, and I got the coins FedExed into me yesterday. So
we see this all the time. It's not every dealer. Like I said, we tend to beat up on dealers a lot, but there's some really good dealers out there. Don't get us wrong, but a lot of these bigger boiler room type wholesale, they're not even wholesale, just huge retail outlets where they've got a lot of salesmen working for them. They'll try to create their own market. Like where Don said, they'll post higher than normal bid prices to their customers, and it's a numbers game. Maybe out of 100 customers, they end up buying just a small handful of coins from 2 or 3 sellers. That's fine. It keeps them happy. But God forbid the market actually takes off and everybody wants to dump them at one time. You won't see those bids anymore.
The one thing I'll tell you is I know we have to earn your trust before you'll do this, but once we earn your trust, your best policy is to be honest with us, because if you found the guy that's paying the most money for that coin on your own and you share with me who's offering that, I'm going to tell you if he's going to write you a check, or I'm going to tell you if you're going to send the coin off, and the next thing you know, he's going to ask for a trade. So that's the big thing. And in our next segment, I'll go into why I get a little bit nervous about trades. In the meantime, you can call our office at 480-553-5282 or our 800 number, 800-221-7694. Any questions you have. And we're about to go to the next break, so I will wait to come back. Thank you.
Once again, here's Nick Rovich.
Hi, it's Don Gause and Carl Ladas. Just to give you a couple of housekeeping things. Jen is recording us on all this, and she puts it out on the internet at goodasgoldadvice.com. There's a podcast out there. And our website is americanfederal.com. There's a lot of good information out there. And you can call the office absolutely anytime at 800-221-7694. I did promise to talk to you a little bit about the traps and quirks and trades. Just to give you one, it's probably the most notable one that I can ever think of, but because a lot of times these guys, they quote a price and they tell you if you're trading, they can bury whatever they're doing in the other side of the trade. Just to give you one idea, I did a deal a couple of years ago with a gentleman back in upstate New York, which is where I'm from originally, small farm community. And basically what happened is he told me 3 or 4 times on the phone that our price for his coins was way too low, that he'd hear me out when I was coming there because his brother was really good friends with my father. That's the only reason I got the appointment, was because of that. I assured him that he'd be surprised when I got there. I assured him I wasn't 100% sure till you actually go and do the deal, but I just knew who he was dealing with. I felt I knew what they were up to, and felt pretty comfortable that I'd be able to do a really good deal for him compared to what everybody else was doing. He wanted to trade his rare coins into silver eagles, and I was sitting at his kitchen table going through his coins, and he is standing behind me looking over my shoulder as I'm basically writing an offer up on the whole thing. And he's looking over my shoulder and he keeps going, that's just not enough money. That's not enough money. That's not enough money, as I'm writing down what I'm going to offer him for the coins. And that's before the fee that I'm going to show him. So he's so sure that I'm not offering him enough money. And we get all the way to the bottom. He must have said this is not enough money about 5 or 6 times. And I put down how many silver eagles I was going to give him. And he goes, how the heck do you guys do that? You're not paying me enough money, but you're giving me 20% more silver eagles than they're offering me in trade. I said, the reality is, I could do what they do and tell you and get to the same number. It's just so much easier for me to tell you what I can actually do for you, show you how much I make, and then on a trade we give you the silver eagles at our cost, because for a lot of reasons, when silver goes up or if it goes down, we look a little bit better in the end because you got it cheaper from us. But he goes, 20% is a big difference. Well, the reason I pushed you so hard, and thank you for trusting that, at least giving me a shot at this thing because your brother knows my father so well. Thank you for doing that. But I figured they work on about 35%, and I'm doing this thing at 15%. It works out that you get, that's exactly kind of what I thought would happen. Did I think it would be that close? Did I be giving you 20% more silver? No, but I was very comfortable saying that I'd end up giving you more silver, and thanks for trusting me. Mm-hmm. But we see that over and over again.
Over and over again. Usually when we have clients that go to other dealers or their existing dealer to ask for an offer on their coins, typically, with the exception of a few really good dealers out there, to be honest with you, when it comes to these coins, it doesn't matter who you talk to. If everybody were honest, we would all be within a few dollars of one another. This is not rocket science. If you're a knowledgeable dealer, we all belong to the same trading network. Nick's talked about that a lot as well, but what it comes down to is a lot of times these guys just don't want to get out of bed for less than 20, 30 to 40% sometimes. And
a couple of dealers that like to triple their money on everything they sell.
Yeah. But the tough part though, it's the coin market it's just very difficult to find out what coins are really worth, especially a more rare coin. Typically when we see these trades, when I see them, I'm sure Don will agree, when we're dealing with a larger dollar amount, larger collection, we'll actually see trades where they're upgrading him into a more rare coin. And the rarer the coin, the harder it is to find out the value. There really isn't a good resource for the common investor to go to look for values on coins. So how do you check and find out? Well, you got to have somebody in your back pocket like American Federal that can at least be honest with you and say, hey, that's a good offer on that coin. Sometimes it just takes a little bit extra effort. The gray sheets, I like talking about them. However, you need to know how to read them. There's a lot of what we call trap coins in there, but you can get the gray sheets. It's the Coin Dealer newsletter. And if somebody's trading you into more common coins, like your common saints and stuff like that, Morgan dollars, you'll find those in the blue sheet, which is even a better resource. But it's about the only place you can go to find values.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea, the blue sheet tracks basically last week's sight unseen bids, and you just don't know if that was a bid for one coin at that price or hundreds. And the gray sheet tracks sight seen bids that nobody ever has to write a check for. So what are coins really worth? Somewhere in between those numbers. Sometimes, like right now, there's a certain part of the market that's kind of hot, and we're getting the Carson City $20 gold coins right now are kind of hot, and I'm getting a lot of times over gray sheet for those by the time we sell if they're a nice looking coin. And but there are times when Carl and I will call you and we're excited about something. When we're excited, I hate to tell you this, but we wear it on our sleeve. We're pretty honest guys. When we're excited about something, it's probably a great time to sell it. We don't get excited that often, but Carson City $20 right now. Half-ounce gold eagles. There's a whole bunch of dates that are bid very ridiculous numbers in some ways.
Yeah, we even saw some sealed boxes of silver eagles. Some of the older dates. How many bids did you see?
I think in the last week there were bids for sealed boxes of 1986 silver eagles at double the melt value.
Yeah,
that's the first year of silver eagles. A lot were made.
Yeah, that's like selling at $32 silver.
Yeah. I mean you don't get those kind of opportunities very often.
No.
And
they don't last. That's another thing. Folks, if you see something like this, you talk to us and we tell you, hey, your box of 86 silver eagles, we can, get you double melt for it. Take us up on the offer. Get double down. Get into some more silver. Cash some money out. Use the money because those bids will not last forever.
No, it seems like every year it seems like a rolling thing, but every year there's a different part of the market that's exciting. It's kind of like a pop-up game. There's only so much money out there. And the dealers the guys that are good at this are good at creating some excitement, but there's only enough money out there to maybe create that excitement in 2 or 3 different areas at a time. And when you get your client base all loaded up in that kind of product, it's time to find a new thing to get people excited about. And that's kind of the way the market works. And it can be really unforgiving. And one thing people don't understand, we worry about this for us. I mean, we could run the market up in certain coins, but if we're the only guys that are in the deal and the only ones making the market in it, how do you ever tell your clients it's time to sell? You can't. One of the things that Nick's tried to do with our company is he's tried to be more of a guerrilla out there, that we're not out there pushing coins on people, so that when we see something exciting happening, we can be out there meeting other dealers' demand, other collectors' demand, and telling our clients it's time to get out of there. Do we get you out at the top of the market every time? Definitely not, but we give you a chance to make money on that kind of stuff where most people would just want to sell you more. My favorite line from coin dealers is, your coins are up 30%. You need to buy more. That's...
Imagine your stockbroker telling you that.
Yeah, I mean sometimes that works, but most of the time it doesn't. And the other thing I just wanted to say, a lot of the dealers, when you call up, a lot of dealers will tell you you're doing really well right up to the time that you're ready to write, that you say, I need to take $10,000 or $20,000 off the table, and then all of a sudden the phone goes dead, and they don't really want to buy it back, mainly because they've been telling you the coins are worth more than they can go out in the marketplace and buy them.
We had a classic example of that this past year in Florida. That client we had talked to last year, his dealer was telling him his coins were worth over $90,000. We were at about $45,000 for him. He kept hounding them, and their price kept dropping.
Every time he asked, all of a sudden the price was going
down $10,000, $20,000.
This year he was within about, I think he was right about the price we were offering this year when they finally figured out that he was serious, and he ended up going with us on that deal. But it's just kind of crazy how the whole thing works. The other thing I see is a lot of times, we're back to 1 minute. So I'll when we get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that Ron Paul's been putting out and Porter Stansberry's been putting out. So if you have any questions or you want to add anything to the conversation, you can call us at the radio station, 602-324-1510. Or you can call and have a nice conversation with Carl and I at our office at 800-221-7694. And again, you can check the website, AmericanFederal.com or goodasgoldadvice.com, absolutely anytime. I got 10 more seconds to talk. I don't know what else to say.
Don't forget to feed the turtle.
Yeah, I think it's your day, Carl. So we'll go from there. Thank you.
Once again, here's Nick Rovich.
Hi, welcome to the show. If you're tuning in just now, you're a little bit late, but I'm Carl Ladas. I'm here with Don Gause. We're filling in for Nick Rovich. He's out of town. Don, you mentioned talking a little bit about Porter Stansberry and Ron Paul, didn't you?
Yeah, they've kind of teamed up right now, and it's a pretty bleak world that they're presenting to people. But and I haven't spent the money, maybe I will at some point, to figure out exactly what they're recommending. But they keep talking about how everything's going to fall apart in the country very shortly. But they've got the answer, and they have some kind of a secret asset that's returned over 1,000% since 1992 without a single down year. And you look at the stock market, gold, silver. I don't know anything that you can make money on that you don't have a risk of losing money on. And anybody that tells you, that's the first thing that gets my hackles up. I just don't understand how there's anything that you can be guaranteed not to lose money, and you're making that kind of return over, with 92 to today. That's 23 years. It just doesn't. And how you can keep that secret for 23 years, where somebody else isn't out there doing it a little cheaper than Porter Stansberry, or somebody's not on CNN telling you, or CNBC or this station telling you the secret to doing that. I'm not even sure Warren Buffett's been that smart a guy, although he's probably the smartest investor we've ever seen in this country, that he's been smart enough to make 1,000% return in that period of time. Maybe he has with his, I don't know, it's an interesting question.
It's way above my head.
But, they talk about, and this is what really drives me nuts, but they talk about one of the things they send you for free is the Gold Investors Manual, and then they have something called the 100% Secret, and I've had clients that have gotten this stuff, and basically you have to send them some more money to find out the next step.
Secret decoder ring.
Yeah, I know. It's just it'll drive you nuts. But, I don't... And maybe I'm the happy-go-lucky guy in the office, but I do think that most people with money in America get up every morning trying to figure out how to make more money, and they do believe, whether or not you agree with what they're up to, they do believe that they're actually making the world a better place. And I don't think I just have a hard time believing there's a Dr. Evil that's trying to ruin the United States all by themselves. I do think there's some people that would like to bring us down a notch or two. But if you look at the way this country's working, one of the reasons the dollar keeps getting stronger is because people from Russia and China, they feel safer having their money in this country. It's only Americans that get all worked up about it in some ways. So, do I think there's a lot of things you can and should be doing to hedge yourself if the currency collapses or goes down? Yeah, gold's a good way to do that. But when you start to buy into the rhetoric and scare tactics, I think you're just as likely to get waylaid. Just to give you an idea, I had a client that called on this brochure that you can call up and get from Porter Stansberry. You can Google him and get all this information. And he was so panicked that he was ready to write a check for $250,000 that day to buy gold. And he's a client. I like the guy a lot. And I said, well, here's the plan. You want to buy $250,000 with gold. We don't know if it's going to go up or down. Why don't you just buy $50,000 a month for the next 7 months and see what happens? Well, I just didn't feel like there was an upward pressure right now. It feels like we're sort of drifting in a narrow band on the price of gold. So you taking a more thoughtful approach. If it starts to run, you can speed up the whole process. But right now, being a little more thoughtful, he's been able to buy his gold a little bit cheaper every time he buys. And, he's going to get up to his number. Is it going to be a huge difference in how much he ends up accumulating by doing it gradually? Well, his first purchase to his last purchase will probably be about $100 difference in the price of gold. So it's a decent difference. So, and if it had started running up, we probably would have pulled the trigger and bought a whole bunch a lot quicker. But it just seemed like the market wasn't moving that quickly. So anybody that's trying to panic you, I would just tell you, anybody that tries to scare you into doing something immediately is probably the wrong guy to deal with.
Or putting all your eggs into one basket.
Yeah.
It's probably the wrong guy to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the world, so diversification's still a good way to look at life. I mean, you just don't know. Anybody that tells you they know for sure, a bad guy to go with. Anybody that promises you can't lose money, I guarantee you're going to lose money with that kind of a cavalier attitude on investing. I don't know, it just seems like anybody trying to scare you, anybody that's trying to strong arm you, anybody that promises there's no way to lose money.
You got to buy it right now. They're running out of them, this and that. And it's just stuff to be aware of. Just step back, use a little common sense. You don't ever have to buy right then and there when you're on the phone with your broker. You can just ask him, hey, I need a couple minutes to think about this. Let me call you back. Take a deep breath, grab a glass of water, think about it.
Now, the other thing is, a couple of weeks ago, I got this email missive from one of the newsletters that I get a lot of emails. I get as much free advice as I can get, and I pay for a little bit of advice along the way, too. Well, this guy was like the anti-Ron Paul Porter Stansberry. These guys are saying the government's printing money too fast, and that's going to lead to the collapse of currency. And this guy's whole point was, what happens if you had to actually give people a $100 bill to buy something? If everybody had to use money to buy things instead of being able to use credit cards and checks and everything else? And his point was, it'll lead to a collapse because there's just not enough money printed to cover all the transactions that are done every single day. Pretty much the same scenario, exact opposite reason for it happening. So again, another guy trying to scare the heck out of you. And that one actually scared me a little bit more, to be honest with you, because it's like you go back to the Y2K, all the scary things that were happening there. How many of us have $100 in our pocket on any given day? Most of us walk around with hardly any money and a debit card and a couple of credit cards, and we're fat and happy. We can buy whatever we want whenever we want. But what happens if all those things don't work anymore?
Better be stocked up on toilet paper.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, or have some good Mormon friends that are willing to share some of their food, because the day that the midday transactions don't work, there's probably not going to be anything in the stores anymore to buy. So, you can live your life worried about the worst thing and have a bunker full of food and gold, and you probably need some firearms to protect everything you have, because you know darn well all the lazy people that never saved anything are going to come looking for you if they're desperate. So, and it's just a tough way to live your life worried about that.
It is. Remember the gal you and I visited in Arkansas, where Don and I walk into her house. She's got $250,000 worth of gold sitting on a table. It's 32 degrees outside.
Her heater doesn't work.
No heater. There's no doors on half of her porch is falling apart. There's no doors in the interior of her house. She's got curtains. She's trying to keep little pockets of the house warm. And
if the world goes to hell, she's in great shape.
Wants to convert out of her rare coins into more bullion, which is what we recommended, and it was a good solid move for her. But we implored her to take 10 or 20 grand in cash and fix her house. Live life.
You gotta live your life.
Yeah. Geez.
The odds are good if Armageddon happens, you're not going to be around the day after Armageddon anyway. So I just had a client I love dearly. Guy's 91 years old and fantastic health. He'll probably live another 20 years, although at 91, Any day could be your last day. At 56, which is how old I am, any day could be your last day. But he just a really good, solid, down-to-earth guy. He sold me all his coins just recently, and the reason he said was, well, I do believe in God, and I think he'll take care of me if everything goes wrong. And I said, at 91, I think you can afford to have that attitude. So it's just always interesting to me. I think you should be prepared for the worst, but live your life for the best. So that's
we got to mention George Baxter one more time out in
We're down
Mesa.
under a minute. I got to warn you. Yeah.
Okay.
Mention George again.
We just want to mention George again. He's one of our good listeners, and we really appreciate what he's doing for us. He's out there at the Mesa Coin Club, helping us spread the word. And anyway, George, thanks, buddy. Call anytime.
Okay. Just again, I think the best advice we could give you is to be prepared for the worst, but live every day not worried about the worst. So a good position to be in is some solid gold and silver as a hedge, and maybe taking some chances with platinum, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. So that's our piece of advice for the day. And call the office anytime, 800-221-7694. Thank you.